This podcast is rated E for everyone. Hey guys, how you doing? It's been a couple weeks. Welcome back. I've been good. I hope you guys have been good. Welcome back to another episode of the Xbox Zone. I am your host, as always, Matt Tuna Turner, and this is the bi-weekly podcast where I will talk about everything Xbox. It's been a pretty busy 2 weeks. Some notable releases. This month's Games with Gold is pretty amazing, and I've got another game review for you guys this week. So why don't we just get right into it? It's August, so you know what that means. Football season is upon us, and the folks at EA always honor us with a wonderful title that brings the action right to the gridiron. Madden 19 came out this month, which is pretty early in August. Usually comes out a little later. But the real standout for the Xbox One this month is We Happy Few. This looks like a very cool game. It takes place in a dystopian 1960s England where everyone is drugged up and happy, unless, of course, you don't take the drug. You can play through an intricate story mode or explore the open world. It's really up to you. There are branching story paths, and you get to decide how you want to play and explore this world, and it looks absolutely amazing. Very stylized, very cool. I'm actually really looking forward to playing this game. And this month has a pretty awesome lineup of games with gold. I have to say, I'm pretty pleased. All of the games were really real standouts. We have Forza Horizon 2 for the entire month, from August 1st to August 31st. We have the X360 titles, Dead Space 3 for the first half of this month. So if you haven't, I would recommend picking that up. And for the second half of the month on the Xbox One front is For Honor, and for the second half of the month for X360 we have the sequel to Epic Mickey. And just a side note, Prince of Persia is now available as a backwards compatible title. Before we get into a little bit of the fun stuff I have planned for this week's podcast, why don't we just run down a little bit of news on the Xbox front. Let's start with the open seas. The pirate simulator Sea of Thieves has crossed the $5 million mark in terms of units sold. This sales number was achieved through combined sales on the Xbox One and PC. This wasn't the only Sea of Thieves news, however. The Cursed Sails expansion also came out this week, which introduces enemy skeleton ships, the Brigantine 3-player ship, and a new alliance system. Rare introduced all these things right at the same time, and they also introduced a 3-week time-limited campaign which includes new goals and rewards each and every week, and all features introduced alongside the campaign will remain in Sea of Thieves. Good news, Crackdown fans! Crackdown 3 is pretty much done. Yeah, it's pretty much done. I don't know what they're waiting for then. Apparently, Crackdown 3 is pretty much done. But the devs don't want to pull in the 2019 delay because they want to finish. They really want to add a really nice layer of polish. They really want this game to hit home with the users and be a real standout. So 2019 is when it still comes out. New avatars have begun to roll out across the Xbox dashboards. I haven't seen one personally. It hasn't come out for me yet, but the updates are slowly rolling out across Xboxes around the world. So those of you lucky to have your avatars, nice. Do you have new updates, new costumes, those sorts of things? The avatars look a little bit different. You can actually import your avatars from your X360 and earlier iterations of the Xbox One Dash. Also a new update this month. Digital movies and TV purchases on Xbox One are now available anywhere through Movies Anywhere. You can watch on any device at no additional cost. And if you sync your Xbox One account with Movies Anywhere, you get a free copy of X-Men Days of Future Past, which really is one of the better X-Men movies anyways, so win-win. I think the biggest news that came out on the Xbox front over the last couple weeks was the drop of a new Red Dead Redemption 2 trailer. We got a lot of details and a really good look at what Red Dead Redemption is going to look like. This game looks huge, like massive, absolutely massive. You can go mountains, desert, civilization, the outback, everywhere. It actually looks really cool. It is set in a time of great change in America. So like the Wild West is coming to an end and the age of civilization is just coming. It's the end of lawlessness and the birth of civilization, if you will. There is a real meshing of story with action and exploration, and it truly is a living world. Basically, you go from town to town and you have to set up camp, and camp is actually kind of where a lot of the richness comes from. You can sit there and play cards or listen to campfire stories. There's also a branching story, and actions have real consequences. So you can choose to defuse a fight, engage in a fight, or avoid it altogether. Of course, if you engage in a fight, though, or kill someone, that story, if there was one, will never be available again. So be careful what you do out there. You need to hunt for food, and you can actually use the pelts to trade at the General store and use that for money for things like medicine, guns, bullets. It's really, really cool. It's actually pretty much like a real Western living world that they've created. And the best part, we don't have to wait too much longer. It's available in late October. So shortly after the last episode, I was invited to the launch of Halo Fireteam Raven, which is a new 4-player co-op rail shooter arcade game. It is available, at least in Singapore, exclusively at TimeZone's flagship store in Vivo City. And I will be including the video I created here. For those of you that have already seen it, you get to watch it a second time, or you can just simply skip ahead. For those of you who have not seen my video, you should check out my YouTube channel. I post all sorts of neat and new stuff on there. But anyways, here is my video I did for Halo Fireteam Raven. Hello everyone, today on location we are heading to TimeZone at Vivo City in beautiful Singapore to check out the new Halo arcade game, Fireteam Raven. Gonna be fun. Halo Fireteam Raven is a new multiplayer shooter available exclusively at TimeZone's flagship arcade in Vivo City. The imposing black housing, colorful graphics, and big, beautiful screens just beckon you and your friends. I can almost hear it calling me. Tuna. Play me, Tuna. You know you want to. Priced at just $3.80 a play or an even $3 for Platinum members, there's no reason you can't grab some friends and blast some Covenant forces.
The ring is called Halo. As far as we know, it's a powerful and ancient weapon.
Halo Fireteam Raven is a 4-player rail shooter that takes place during the events of the original Halo.
It's payback time, ODST. Move out!
You and your friends play as a squad of ODST troops on the original Halo ring against the forces of the Covenant. I had a chance to go hands-on with the game. I play both solo and with others. The game is very much designed and most fun with friends. Playing solo works okay. Your teammates pretty much mirror your shots, so if you're awful, so are they. Gameplay is more or less split into two different types. You have vehicle sections and the on-foot rails. The vehicle sections had infinite ammo, making them considerably easy. The on-foot sections were a little more difficult. Timing reloads was imperative, and using the grenades properly meant the difference between life and death. The folks at 343 did a pretty amazing job with this game. Not only does it look great, but it helps to fill in an already rich story. So if you like rail shooters and see this at your local arcade, I would definitely recommend pumping a few bucks into it. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was a fun event. It was really cool to go hands-on with this multiplayer shooter before anyone else did. And as I said, it is available exclusively at Time Zone's flagship store in Vivo City in beautiful Singapore. So if you're in Singapore, or if you see this game at your local arcade, I would definitely recommend playing it. Moving on, I have another review for you guys. I hope you enjoy it. It is a review of Halo 5 Guardians. This is a game that I really wanted to play. I never got to. I didn't buy it when it first came out. The fifth installment of the Halo franchise is packed with all sorts of goodies that makes this game a great modern shooter, and the addition of new characters breathes new life into a franchise on the brink of feeling stale. But is all of this enough to make Halo 5 Guardians stand out in an already crowded genre? The game plays like previous games in the franchise, only this time you aren't solely the Master Chief. Other Spartans have been trained and created, and they've been given some neat abilities. The addition of the Smash Landing and Spartan Crash make combat and exploration a lot more fun. Halo has always felt a little claustrophobic. Whether running through the corridors of the Autumn, or the library, or an outpost on Meridian, the close combat is kind of where Halo has always excelled. These provide great shooting combined with horror elements. Juxtapose this with the vehicle sections. The vehicle sections are pretty frantic, but not overly difficult. You can actually assign your squad members to separate vehicles and arms, but the AI doesn't make them too useful, at least not in normal mode. There are some great cutscenes, but I wish I could get involved in a couple, like with a QTE or something. There was a super cool cutscene where Blue Team went racing through space like in Star Trek Into Darkness, and it would have been cool to play this part, even if it were sort of on rails. Multiplayer is back, and it's probably some of the series' best. The addition of the Arena and Warzone modes will make you forget about what is missing. There's something for every style of gamer. There's also a mention of Apogee. It's a major part of one of the earlier missions. I wonder if that's a reference to the old Apogee Studios from the 90s. Halo helped pioneer the console shooter with easy to use and understand controls. Halo 5 builds on that. They feel tight and intuitive. No hand fatigue during long play sessions. For the most part, the controls were responsive. The most difficult thing to pull off was the Spartan Smash, because running wasn't always the best. Really though, in a shooter, that's not a terrible complaint to have, because after all, it's all about the pew-pew. Aiming is fluid and with accuracy that only a mouse can beat, and sighting enemies down the barrel of a rifle was gratifying, as was shooting from the hip in those tight corridors. The game looks absolutely fantastic, and the character models look so unbelievably realistic. Sometimes I felt like I was playing a movie. This is thanks to the Xbox One's amazing hardware. But we already knew the Xbox One could push some serious polygons, so let's not forget about the audio fidelity either. You hear every footfall, grunt, and all the ridiculous banter and wonderful surround sound, making it really easy to pinpoint enemies and plan your method of attack. Great care was taken with this game, and that's evident in not only the overall graphic fidelity, but also the great soundtrack and even the UI design. Hopping into matches only took a couple button presses. Halo 5 picks up a little after the events of Halo 4. The Covenant are as much of a threat as the Forerunners, and Chief is being dogged by Cortana. Cortana continues her slide into madness, hatching a plot that will test the Master Chief in ways he didn't think possible. Halo 5 also introduced some new characters. They provide some pretty dramatic moments, even if there were some pretty obvious beats, all the while expanding on Forerunner mythos. In a franchise that's always been about one character, this game isn't. This may prove divisive, but I would encourage players to give it a chance. We may not get as much of John in the game, but we still get a lot of Spartan fun. So the final verdict. For gameplay, standard Halo fare, couple new additions, and I wish some cutscenes were more interactive. I gave it an 8. For controls, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Also an 8. Presentation, looks amazing, music is awesome as always, so I gave it a 9. And story, a little too obvious, decent continuation of the Master Chief saga. So I gave it a 7, which brings Halo 5 Guardians total to 8. Well, that's it for another episode of the Xbox Zone. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Had some notable releases, some big news, especially from Rockstar. That Red Dead Redemption 2 game looks absolutely amazing. Gonna have to pre-order that, that's for sure. I also hope you guys liked my look at Halo Fireteam Raven, and doubling down on the Halo front, I hope you enjoyed the review of Halo 5. Of course, I would really appreciate your support, so if you like this video or listen to this podcast, please do subscribe. I'm available on iTunes. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. You can also find me on Twitter at TunaEnt_official. That is at the number 2 NAENT_official. I'm also on Patreon, www.patreon.com/tunaentertainment. So that's it for another episode. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.